Today, we set our course to the southwest, leaving behind the legendary lands of El Cid, and embark on a journey to discover an overlooked gem of Castile y León, Valladolid. This city, which was once the seat of Spanish royal power, is about to reveal its splendors to us. From the tranquility of Campo Grande Park, to the fascinating buildings of Plaza Mayor, and the residence where the famous Cervantes lived, we are preparing to explore Valladolid in all its diversity, where street art comes to life through the many bronze statues scattered throughout the city. Amidst the vibrant medieval squares and contemporary artworks, the city invites us on a captivating exploration where every corner holds a new cultural surprise. Valladolid, the beating heart of Castile, is ready to unveil its secrets. Let yourself be swept away by the charm of this city, where history and modernity intertwine in a captivating dance. Our exploration of Valladolid begins in the lush heart of the city, Campo Grande Park. From our first steps along its shaded path, we are transported far from the urban tumult. The park comes alive before our eyes. A majestic fountain rises in the center of a tranquil pond, its droplets sparkling under the Spanish sun. The water dances to the rhythm of a silent melody, offering a refreshing spectacle to passers-by. Ducks glide gracefully across the water, closely followed by a family of newly hatched ducklings. Their yellow down and awkward waddle add a touch of tenderness to this bucolic scene. As we continue our visit, we discover the imposing Fountain of Fame, erected in 1883 in the heart of the gardens. Designed by architect Antonio Iturralde and created by sculptor Mariano Chicote, this fountain pays tribute to one of Valladolid's greatest mayors, Miguel Iscar, who passed away in 1880. The bronze sculpture depicts a woman with outstretched wings, holding a laurel crown in her left hand and blowing into a trumpet, symbolizing glory, while water springs forth, creating a majestic display. We marvel at the sight of two baby peacocks. It's our first time seeing these creatures so young, and their fragility and beauty deeply move us. These unexpected moments adds a touch of magic to our stroll, reminding us of the perpetual renewal of life in this park. The Swan Fountain, a work by Gonzalo Bayon, from 1887, gracefully adorns La Pergola, testifying to the architectural elegance and landscape refinement of the era. Our walk finally leads us to a more discreet monument, the commemorative sculpture of the Campo Grande photographer. This work pays tribute to a local artist who captured the soul of the park through his lens. Standing still, camera in hand, he reminds us that every moment in this haven of peace deserves to be immortalized. Suddenly, a movement catches our attention. An agile squirrel emerges from a nearby bush, its fluffy tail waving behind it. Despite its speed, we manage to grab our camera in time to film a few seconds of its graceful run. The animal disappears as quickly as it appeared, leaving us with a brief but precious film memory of the park's vibrant wildlife. This unexpected encounter seems to echo the statue of the photographer, as if to underscore the importance of staying attuned to the small miracles of nature that surround us. Campo Grande, with its feathered inhabitants, its works of art, and its lush nature, is not just a simple park. It's a perfect prelude to our discovery of Valladolid, a gentle opening to the wonders this Castilian city holds. Plaza Zoria, one of the most emblematic squares of Valladolid, is a true crossroads between history and modernity. At the center of the square stands a magnificent monumental fountain, a true jewel that adds a touch of freshness and serenity to this lively place, enhancing its beauty. Dominated by the majestic statue of Zoria, the famous poet and playwright native to the city, this square offers an impressive panorama of the Cavalry Academy, a monumental building that reflects Valladolid's military significance. Surrounded by elegant facades and green spaces, the square serves as an ideal starting point to exploring the city, connecting modern avenues to historic alleyways. It's a must-visit meeting place where both locals and visitors converge, bringing this vibrant heart of the city to life. At the entrance of Campo Grande, in Plaza Zoria, stands the life-size statue of Miguel de Cervantes, the iconic writer from Valladolid, captured in his daily stroll by sculptor Eduardo Cuadrado, reminding us of the author's deep attachment to this park that marked key moments of his life. As we venture into Calle Miguel Iscar, we discover a street lined with buildings, each more beautiful than the last. It's a place where the past and present meet, inviting us to soak in the authentic soul of the city. We now arrive at the Museo Casa de Cervantes, a must-visit for any literature enthusiast. This house, where the famous writer Miguel de Cervantes lived, the author of the renowned Don Quixote, offers a fascinating glimpse into his life and work. As we wander through the richly decorated rooms, we feel the influence of the surroundings on his writings. The interior of the house immerses us in the atmosphere of the 17th century. The library, in particular, catches our attention with its shelves filled with ancient books and manuscripts, evoking the literary universe of the writer. At the heart of the house, we discover a beautiful inner courtyard that provides a haven of tranquility in the middle of the city. Paved with ancient stones and adorned with a central fountain, this courtyard is truly delightful and invites serenity. climbing plants and flower pots add a touch of greenery, creating a space where one can easily imagine Cervantes finding inspiration for his immortal works. As we head towards Plaza Mayor, we come across a commemorative statue dedicated to the guardians of the city. Inaugurated in 1997, this statue was created to pay tribute to the urban police officers, highlighting their essential role in the safety and well-being of the citizens of Valladolid. We discover Las Francescas shopping center. Housed in the former convent of the Franciscan sisters, dating back to the 16th century. The architecture of the center retains original elements from the convent, such as its elegant arches and inner courtyard, giving it a unique atmosphere. Plaza Mayor, the true beating heart of Valladolid, unfolds before us. The Plaza Mayor Square was rebuilt after a great fire in 1561 and is considered one of the first regular squares in Spain, serving as a model for other famous Plaza Mayors, such as those in Madrid and Salamanca. Its rectangular shape, with balanced proportions, is the work of Francisco de Salamanca, an influential architect of the time. At the center of Plaza Mayor stands a bronze statue of the famous Spanish admiral Don Miguel de Cervantes, adding a historical and cultural touch to this lively space. The Valladolid Town Hall, an imposing neoclassical building with a central tower, dominates the square and serves as a central landmark. The terraces of cafes invite relaxation, while the imposing architecture of the town hall reminds us of the city's rich past. Our path then takes us to the Iglesia de la Pasión, where history and contemporary art meet in an unexpected way. This church, a testament to the city's religious fervor, currently hosts a contemporary art exhibition, creating fascinating dialogue between the sacred and the modern. Leaving behind the hustle and bustle of the center, we head towards a space of serenity, the Rosareda Francisco Sabadell. This rose garden, a true palette of colors and fragrances, offers a sensory pause, reflecting Valladolid's love for its green spaces. Here, the surprising Playa de las Moreras, an urban beach by the Pisuerga River, invites us for a refreshing break. It's a perfect opportunity to enjoy a well-deserved moment of relaxation. Revitalized, we continue to the Paseo Herreriano Museo de Arte Contemporáneo. Housed in a former monastery, this museum brilliantly blends Renaissance architecture with contemporary art, offering a unique cultural experience. Our exploration then leads us to Plaza de la Rinconada, where Roman remains testify to the city's antiquity. These carefully preserved relics reminds us that the history of Valladolid extends far beyond the Middle Ages. We now arrive at Mercado del Val. This recently renovated covered market is a feast for the senses. The colorful stalls are overflowing with local products. The enticing aromas of Castilian cuisine fill the air, and the cheerful chatter of merchants and customers creates a warm and authentic atmosphere. As we leave the market, we arrive at the majestic Palacio del Marquez de Valladolid, which now houses the Museo de Valladolid. This noble residence provides us with a glimpse into the aristocratic life of yesteryear, while preserving archaeological and artistic treasures from the region. As we continue our path, we catch sight of the imposing silhouette of the Palacio Real. Although we do not stop there, its presence reminds us of Valladolid's royal past, once the capital of the Kingdom of Spain. Not far from there, the Palacio de Justicia stands proudly, a symbol of judicial authority and a witness to the evolution of the Spanish legal system over the centuries. After admiring this palace, our journey leads us to a surprising discovery: La Plaza del Viejo Coso. As we enter in the inner courtyard, we are struck by the unique atmosphere that prevails there. This circular square, nestled in the heart of the city, instantly transports us to another era. Built in the 18th century, it was originally a bullfighting arena, one of the oldest in Spain. The silence contrasts with the bustle that must have animated these places during the bullfights of yesteryear. Today, transformed into a residential complex, it retains its characteristic circular shape and unique architecture. This successful conversion of the former venue into a living space is a perfect example of how Valladolid has managed to preserve its heritage while adapting it to modern needs. As we leave the place, we head towards the imposing San Pablo Church, a Gothic masterpiece of Valladolid. Its facade, adorned with finely carved sculptures, immediately catches the eye. The details are striking, each relief tells a story, and each figure seems animated by a divine breath. This church, a witness to significant moments in Spanish history, has seen kings, nobles, and royal court dignitaries pass by, and its architecture transports us to the time of the Catholic monarchs. Next door, the National Museum of Sculpture immerses us in Spanish sacred art. Housed in the former San Gregorio College, this venue holds one of the largest collections of religious sculptures in Spain. It's a true immersion in art and faith, a journey through the centuries. A short walk away, the Monumento of Felipe II pays tribute to the monarch who made Valladolid the capital of Spain in the early 17th century. On our way, we encounter the life-size bronze statue of the knight Don Juan Tenorio, honoring the most emblematic character of the poet José Zoria, who hails from Valladolid. We continue toward Santa Maria la Antigua, one of the oldest churches in the city, whose Romanesque tower proudly rises towards the sky. The monument to the penitent, inaugurated in 2020 and created by sculptor Oscar Alvarinho, pays tribute to the Holy Week of Valladolid and the brotherhoods that uphold this tradition. The sculpture depicts an adult penitent in full attire, accompanied by a young girl, lighting the flame of her candle, symbolizing the transmission of devotion. This monument highlights the role of the brotherhoods in preserving the religious statues that make the city a true open-air museum each year. We pass through Plaza de Portugalete to reach the Cathedral of Valladolid. Although it was never completed, the Cathedral of Nuestra Señora de la Asunción is one of the most emblematic buildings in the city. The visible ruins at the back are those of the former collegiate church, a Romanesque structure from the time of Count Ansúrez. The cathedral features a single tower, as the other was severely damaged during the Lisbon earthquake of 1755 and ultimately collapsed nearly a century later, at the beginning of the 20th century. Our journey now brings us face to face with one of the most unique monuments in Valladolid, La Bola del Mundo. With an impressive diameter of 5 meters, it slowly rotates on its axis, completing a full rotation every 24 hours, just like the Earth itself. With a broken heart, we now arrive at a monument that embodies the deep connection between Valladolid and one of the most famous explorers in history, the statue of Christopher Columbus. Erected in 1905 to commemorate the 400th anniversary of the explorer's death, it's the work of sculptor Antonio Susillo. The statue depicts Columbus standing in a noble and contemplative pose. His gaze is turned toward the horizon, as if he's still scanning for distant lands to discover. What makes this statue particularly significant is the profound connection between Columbus and Valladolid. It was in the city that the famous explorer spent his last days and died in 1506.
Just like that, it's like I was never here. I watch in the mirror as my bones disappear.
The house where he lived out his final moments, now transformed into a museum, is just a short walk from this statue. The Christopher Columbus Museum, although closed today, deserves a special mention. We can't help but recommend a visit, as from what we know, it offers a fascinating insight into the life of the famous navigator. We conclude our journey at the Plaza del Colegio de Santa Cruz. The Santa Cruz Palace, currently under renovation, is unfortunately covered with tarps. Despite this, we can imagine the splendor of this Renaissance building, home to one of the oldest universities in Spain.
So take it away.
As our visit comes to an end, we realize that Valladolid is not just a city, but a true open book of history. From lively streets to peaceful parks, every corner of this Castilian city has revealed its hidden treasures and fascinating stories to us. From the Plaza del Viejo Coso to the imposing cathedrals, passing by the palaces and museums. Each place tells a part of the Spanish epic, making this Castilian city an invaluable treasure of Iberian heritage. But this is just a farewell. The adventure continues as we set our sights on new horizons. Salinas, Vitoria, and Logroño await us. See you soon for new discoveries.